Chapter 17, Information Security. The last mile refers to the cable connection between your home or office and the Internet. The problem is that while the Internet has plenty of bandwidth, the performance you see is due to your local connection or last mile. Net neutrality is the principle that all Internet traffic should be treated equally. What are the pros and cons of net neutrality? The advantages are that everyone has equal access to Internet services. The downside is that people and businesses who are willing to pay for expanded services may be limited. Plus, net neutrality may limit new development since there may not be a financial incentive. For Netflix, this might mean reduced usage and lost revenues if users pay for usage by the bit. At this point, let's switch gears to consider the security issues created by the Internet. What are the two most prominent security threats to every organization? The most common problem comes from your own employees. Sometimes employees act carelessly, but other times they act maliciously. Employees may accidentally bring in a virus to the system or may purposefully copy data or share company secrets. The other risk comes in the form of software. Defective software that is created or purchased may hamper productivity or shut down an operation. Virus and denial of service attacks may also shut down an organization. Finally, computers have the ability to quickly replicate errors. Once a mistake occurs, the system can reproduce that error much more quickly than a manual process. In business, managers have to be concerned about the physical security of their systems as well. Numerous cases exist where computer centers were entered in order to steal data or disrupt the business. For example, in 2014, an employee set fire to the computer systems that operate the Chicago Air Traffic Control Center. The result was an immediate halt to all operations in and out of O'Hare Airport, along with delays and rerouted control activities for over 2 weeks. Why are information systems vulnerable to destruction, error, and abuse? While the Internet gives you access to resources across the globe, it also gives others access to you and your systems. This poses a risk to your personal activities and the operation of your business. Your system can be connected using physical cables or, more commonly, wireless connections like Wi-Fi. Wireless connections work by having two devices where one transmits to the other over the airwaves. This method poses a greater threat to your network security because the radio signal goes out in all directions from the transmitting device. If a hacker is nearby, they can receive this signal and collect the data you are transmitting. This is why you should never perform critical tasks over wireless networks unless you are using some sort of data encryption like VPN. War driving occurs when hackers wander around with a Wi-Fi receiving device and scan for unsecure access points. If they find one, they might indicate its location with chalk marks on the curb in front of the location. This is war chalking. Information systems are vulnerable to attack from a number of directions. Malware comes in many forms. There are over 1 million new viruses, spyware, worms, trojans, and other attacks every day. Hackers create and launch these attacks. Hackers may be black or white hat hackers. Black hat hackers launch malicious attacks for personal gain or to damage user and business systems. White hat hackers work with users to identify gaps in information system security and correct them. Large-scale organized attacks come in the form of cyber terrorism and cyber warfare. Cyber warfare occurs when a nation attacks the digital infrastructure of another nation. These attacks can include espionage, sabotage, and propaganda. These attacks come in many forms. Common attack vectors are listed here. Spoofing is when a hacker impersonates another legitimate user. For example, sending emails appearing to come from the HR department of a company. A sniffer is installed on a target computer and records user transactions, forwarding them to the hacker. The hacker may gather data like bank account information and use that data to steal money from the victim. Denial of service or DOS attacks occur when a hacker overloads a website with multiple requests, thus preventing others from accessing the site. This is often done by employing a number of separate computers for the attack. This would be a distributed DOS or DDoS attack. When a hacker takes over a user's computer, that computer is known as a bot. A botnet is when the hacker creates a network of bots for the purpose of executing a distributed denial of service attack. Phishing occurs when a hacker sends a fake message out to users seeking information. This might come in the form of an email requesting account information. Spear phishing occurs when hackers target specific individuals, while whaling occurs when spear phishing targets senior managers, network administrators, politicians, and other important targets who might have access to critical information. Cloning occurs when a hacker executes a spear phishing attack by copying and altering an email from a legitimate source that was previously sent. Farming occurs when traffic going to a legitimate website is redirected to another site. Often when you browse the internet, you will see advertising in the margins of the page. If you click on the ad, the website host is paid a small fee. Click fraud occurs when hackers use bots and other methods to repeatedly select ads, and thus the site owners receive excessive payments. A number of new businesses have been created to respond to the needs for information security and control. Various governments have added regulations to enhance security and user safety. In 1996, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, was established. This law protected the privacy of users with specific requirements on the handling of personally identifiable information. In 2002, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act added laws to control business transactions, establish accounting guidelines, and protect investors from fraud. In addition, a number of laws have been created to protect the privacy of customer information, including medical, financial, and credit card information. Performing independent audits of security methods and data protection have proven to be very lucrative. Other opportunities include providing backup services and disaster recovery infrastructure. I'm sure that you can think of other business opportunities in this area. How do companies establish the proper components of a framework for security and control? We start by creating the necessary controls. General controls come in the form of physical and data security, hiring practices, policies, and audit procedures. In addition, key software applications must be hardened from attack. The necessary actions are identified and prioritized by risk assessment. Gaps are identified, and the most likely and most damaging must be analyzed with appropriate mitigation plans put in place. The company security policy defines the procedures associated with these mitigation plans. In case of failure, a disaster recovery plan is put in place, defining the steps necessary to bring operations back to normal after an outage. The business continuity plan contains the steps to ensure that the business continues to operate before, during, and after any disaster. Once these plans and guidelines have been established, regular audits are required to ensure compliance and consistency over time. A variety of tools and technologies are used for safeguarding information resources. Authentication is applied to ensure that users accessing company systems and data are accurately identified to prevent impersonators. Different approaches are used, including multiple levels of security. This might include passwords along with a requested response. An example would be when a site sends a text to a prearranged smartphone. This text must be entered into the site to verify the user's identification. Hardware and software firewalls are placed in the network to control the flow of incoming and outgoing information. Secrets are kept in while the bad guys are kept out. Intrusion detection and prevention systems identify when hackers have entered the network and take action to stop them. To be successful, activity must be monitored constantly, and the rules that define inappropriate activity must be updated regularly. Minimally, antivirus, anti-spyware software must be installed on all devices, with regular updates of virus definitions. This includes reviewing all software and data already within the firewall. Finally, critical data should be encrypted prior to transmission over the network. This way, if the data is intercepted by a hacker, the message will be unreadable. The proper receiving party holds the decryption key to make the message readable. Additional methods, tools, and technologies used to safeguard IT systems are listed here. Business continuity is enhanced through the use of resilient computer systems, which are designed with extreme reliability and high performance. High availability computer systems include redundant components including multiple power supplies, built-in spare components, and redundant networks, for example. The goal is that any outages will have little to no effect. Recovery-oriented computer systems are designed to simplify outage response, including modular design and predefined responses to minimize mean time to recovery, or MTTR. To ensure data integrity and security, network traffic is monitored, including deep packet inspection, where packets are opened up to fully review their contents to identify and prevent malware. Once implemented, IT systems must be monitored to ensure that the necessary tools operate as expected and to look for any new issues that arise. The speed with which the complexity of these issues grows may suggest the need to outsource some activities to external experts. It is always a good idea to seek the review of a third party who will bring a different perspective to the discussion. Finally, employee education is crucial to prevent errors and reduce the impact of phishing attacks. It is obvious that establishing and maintaining all of these security measures will be costly. The alternative is even more expensive. There are a number of examples of data breaches out there that you may find. Next, we will discuss a data breach that affected TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, and AJ Wright. Start with the video linked here. Links to these videos are also available directly in the Blackboard module. As you review each video, consider the impact that a similar attack might have on your company or another company with which you are familiar. Here is a link to the next video to review. Once you have completed the second video, return here to the last video. Here is a link to the last video in the TJ Maxx breach discussion. Note that this video focuses on the business impact and the final settlement coming from the incident. This completes our discussion on IT system security. There is much more detail available, and I encourage you to investigate topics of interest to you further. Let me know if I may assist you in your investigations. Next, we will discuss business data as an asset.